That does not negate the fact that this is still here, that is still there. Just because you chose to ignore it, you chose to ignore it. So you're choosing to be ignorant, which is not my problem. You see what I'm saying? And as far as where the conversation goes.
Makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, it was ignorant, ignore. Just
It's
come
ignore.
down. And my person actually used the word block. It used the word block because again, yes and no. It says if my person said, "Look, let's create this thing right here. Let's do this. Manifest this." And we say, "Cool, we're confident we can do it." But then it's like, "Damn, why didn't that shit happen?" My person say, "Some blocked it. That we
Right.
directed the energy over here, but some blocked it from going." And usually that block does come from the inside, which is why my person says is releasing the blockages. Sometimes it says that because sometimes my person says, or say, let's make the Kundalini energy rise. If you want to feel the physical energy, go from the base to the crown, my person feels it going to a certain level. It's like, well, damn, why ain't it going this even higher? Because there's something in here that's blocking it from going higher. As much as we meditate and do this, and so my person says they have a life of detoxing. This life of detoxing is removing the blockages that is allowing resistance from experiencing gateway 24/7. If there was no blockages, my person be shit. We keep motherfucking wine. Every now and again we say, okay, we want some wine now. Paya, this water is now wine. But since we're not doing that, that's motherfucking blockages. It's just my person saying how it embraces blockages, so that it can say, well, if there is a such thing as a blockage, this is what it looks like. Then let's remove that motherfucker. So then we're in gateway. That is my person with it. So everybody's different. My personal lane is it embrace having blockages because it got to release the motherfuckers to be in gateway 24/7, and it's doing it because we get there a little bit more every time. We say, oh, because we understand time and space. So with that, my person says it has been and is very successful in removing blockages that's allowing resistance from experiencing gateway, the peace of God that passes all understanding and understanding. So let's share my person embracing. There you go.
Okay. Well, I still think that by me by you recognizing what your blockages are and still choosing, like at the moment that you chose that wine, that was you choosing to not follow what you had said that you wanted to do, which was to raise your kundalini. So if you know that it's gonna deter your energy, or it's gonna put you in a position where you're not as capable of achieving what you had decided to choose, then again it's just the choices. It's not like you blocking something. It's just you just choosing not to do what you said you were going to do.
So that means that's a block. That means you blocked it. If you chose to
So
No.
and
ignore it, then
and
you're. He just said the blocks come from within. Y'all just said that the blocks come from within. So if you have chosen to ignore something, then you creating the blocks. That's your ignorance. And after someone tells you and you still choose to ignore it, that's even further. That's at that point. What would you call? Would that be stupidity, or would that just be ignorance number two, second
So
level of ignorance?
okay, so we're speaking in different languages towards what I'm speaking on.
No, we're speaking in
I'm
English.
just-
that's funny.
well,
Y'all crazy.
the terms that we're using, and the language we have chosen, even though you're saying it's English, is I feel like the words that I'm speaking are more in a the potential of the possibilities. Like we're changing. So integrity is a big word. How about that?
No,
So
that's not the
Yeah,
same
four
as
syllables. That's
ignorance.
pretty
Don't You
big.
can't
Four
just be
syllables.
throwing I words out just because integrity and ignorance does not mean the same thing.
so I'm trying to get you back to the train of thought where I was at when I was making my having the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, what was that?
So so
Integrity.
integrity. So you're giving your word to yourself, and you're allowed to change your word, and you're allowed to change what you decide. But the the choices are, so you're not, I'm not getting, and I think we're getting semantic on technicalities as far as when we say the word block. So I'm just saying, okay, so maybe I could say, because if you think in terms of martial arts, yeah, probably is somewhat technical of a move. It is you putting your energy in another direction, but I still, it,
Okay.
it's a bigger field of energy to me, other than just a block. It's like everything is moving and in motion together at the same time. So I'm looking at whatever it was that was in that. If I recognize that it is in my way, then I'm trying to clarify what it is and how to get around it. And so, I'm not perfect in how I'm explaining this, but I'm just saying right now I'm working on making things that were formerly shifts in my energy. I'm recognizing where those shifts began, like the shadow work kind of thing. I'm recognizing where those shifts began so that I can unshift, so that I can, like, when you're a chef, when you're doing your stretches, and you go increment by increment, and you got little pops and clicks and things moving into place. That's all I'm doing. I'm shifting some things so that my energy can be more direct in areas that have formerly been drains to the flow.
Yeah.
So
Would like to add a share an insight on principles. My person looks at it holds the principles that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and a word is worth 1,000 pictures. And the reason my person is sharing this principle, because what your person described from a certain perspective, it can be described as you're removing blockages that stem from the childhood, from certain things. So, and my person said this may be beneficial, because if there are various interpretations of one word, you know, the more open we are, then the more that we can connect the dots and says, okay, we can see how this one word can also be this as well. Because remember, if you're not aware, and before the written word, there were picture words called the hieroglyphs. And some say they're on the pyramid walls, writing on the walls. There were pictures, and the pictures had different interpretations. And so it's up to like the Daniel, and we can go on and on, but the principle is, just want to say, the more open we are to words, and they can have the slight variations. As oh, we can see how that's included. Because when you go to a dictionary, most of the time you see like 3, 4, 5 different definitions. And the further you go down, the further it gets away from what you may have thought the word meant. And be like, damn, it also means that. So just suggestion on this journey, the more open you are to words can have, slightly expressive and expansive interpretations. The more open, then the more inclusive you are, and the more we say, okay, let's move on to the next thing. Whereas the more we like, nah, that word don't mean that, and go off and want to describe how the word is not that, but then the description of saying how it's not that, somebody's like, well, it sounds like what you're describing is that. So I think a lot of time can be given to just on wordplay about yes and no of the words, when again in reality, pretty much any word you can contort it and go to so many different ways with it. We just suggesting, let's if we're more open, is we is more beneficial. It's more beneficial. It's more beneficial. Because even when just with the back with the release, and what came my person also was pain and suffering. If someone says, I like more pleasure than pain. I like to feel good, be at peace and joy. But if something happened in life and you're like, oh, I don't feel good, I got to rest, some hurt, some pain. If you're not choosing that, and if you're not saying, okay, we don't want this go away, we want this pleasure again. If you sit with that pain, allegedly there's some blocking you from getting back to the pleasure that you want because you got to sit with the pain. If you in pain and want pleasure, but you're not getting that pleasure, sounds like something blocking you. She
Right,
left. She blocked her from hearing. You see,
right. But
so this is
that would be the ignorance. That's the ignorance, and people don't like to be called ignorant. I tell you straight up,
yeah,
somebody come up and call me ignorant, and it'd be a problem. But for the sake of this discussion, we're going into what ignorance is. Like I don't roll around and be like calling people ignorant and so forth. But if we're having a conversation that discusses what a problem is or what someone does or does not know, then we got to dive into these little words that apparently fuck people's feelings up.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like y'all. Like y'all. If somebody were to say y'all, that's a very offensive word to motherfuckers, apparently. Don't call nobody y'all, because who the fuck is y'all?
Or
You
you
see what I'm
people,
saying?
or you people, right?
Right, or
You
you
people.
people. Whatever. That's a different variation of it. But y'all is you all. You all, whoever it is that agrees. So if I was to say, hey, it's a group of Baptists over there, that would be y'all. Because they're Baptists. Y'all all claim to be the same thing, or y'all claim to be fucking Christians, or y'all claim to be this, so that would be y'all. But apparently that's offensive because you have classified yourself as something specific. I'm a motherfucking 7-day Adventist. Okay. Well, there's a whole bunch of you motherfuckers out there that I will call y'all. Hey, y'all do that. Y'all the ones that worship on from Friday night to Saturday night. You see what I'm saying? Y'all do that. Other motherfuckers don't do that. Y'all do, but don't be offended by that. You see what I'm saying? So if we're talking about ignorance, or we're talking about blocks, or we're talking about rejections, or we're talking about um, distractions, or pushing something over there, it's a block. It's missing. What does a block do? If somebody comes down and they try to block, and I gotta block their shot, I'm sending it the other direction. You see what
Uh-huh.
I'm saying? I am
Yeah.
denying that ball into the hoop. I'm denying it. So that's denial. That you can throw denial in there as well. You see what I'm saying? That's ignorance. It's all part of like you said, you can bring it all to the same thing. What's the characteristics that we're talking about? You have a block,
Yeah.
which means
It's
you don't know something.
characteristics.
Okay, Tony. I appreciate you being here this morning because you are helping me to pick apart some things in my language that I may not, as much as you do, pay it as much attention as it should have. So yes, there is the chance that I misspoke when I was speaking my first initial words. But yes, I am shifting some things in my conscious. I'm making conscious efforts to find out what motivates me, and when I am motivated, how I can stay in that momentum, and what it is that is helping me to become more fluent and be more in the flow. So but to give you an update, as I was speaking, I was coming outside for the first time in about, I don't know, 72 hours, because of that, I probably should have waited for my first words to be not public. Maybe I should have listened to my words myself and tried to recalibrate and recognize where I am and what I'm doing and become, in contact. And I was a little out of it. So, I will say I appreciate you bringing that, my language. I need to really, really be more concentrate, make a more concentrated effort on, yes, I probably did uh, misspeak, and I apologize for.
You didn't
Uh,
misspeak. This is not a victim trip. All right, we're not going down this victim trip. You didn't misspeak. You spoke what was on your mind. These things, and we're talking about this. This is what the conversations are for, the communication, like bringing it
yeah, but
out.
I
Because
want to
it's
speak
not.
better than that. I want to speak better than that, and I
That's
want
what
to
we're
come
here.
right off the top of the dome. No, but I'm just saying I apologize to
No,
myself. I'm not really apologizing to you. I'm apologizing to myself to say, hey, baby, you got to pay more attention to what you say. Look at what you were just dealing with, and coming from that environment and going into this environment where you felt free. You just spoke off the top of your head some things. You got to watch that. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. That's all. It's not. There's no need to apologize to me. Who am I? I ain't know. And it's like I'm
Well,
talking
you are
shit.
me and I am you.
Know how I roll. I talk shit with everybody. And if somebody gonna say something and it doesn't seem right, I be like, what are you talking about? Based on the definition, based on this and that. You gotta call motherfuckers out. It doesn't matter who it is, it's not. And you know how we talk. This is just we're putting this on live on YouTube now, but it gets worse than this in person. Like we be talking all kinds of shit to each other. It's like it's a that's the whole, my point of different things. It's like, we gotta, especially we've all been in the same room before and we've all sat and exchanged energies, we've all argued,
Yeah,
we've all cursed at each other, we've all smoked, we've all done all kinds of shit. You
that's
see what I'm
right.
saying? So being that we've gone through these things, we're not going to just start going back and ignoring shit and playing little games and shit. Like that's the games they play. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
Red
well,
Dragons and shit.
I
Yeah,
certainly I appreciate that about you, Tony. That's something that I definitely appreciate because that's part of this training thing that I'm in today. The whole thing is like if you can't hold everybody else accountable and not hold yourself accountable, and you can't hold yourself accountable and not hold everybody else accountable. Meaning that you want to have some integrity with how you conduct yourself, and like if you know that saying they say if you see something, say something. You know, so it's a consistency with you want to put yourself around people who have a recognition of what can make you great and what makes us greater together. So I appreciate that, and I just said that out loud. So thank you. Oh, and the last thing, I've got to leave in 5 minutes at 11:45 or about 5 or 6 minutes at the most. I am in that class and I got to go back in that class. And now, I'm going back in with another perspective. But I want to say hi to my Heart Happy Hour people. I'm going to leave it on so that you can get and tune into what these fellas are going to chat about for the rest of this time. And I thank you guys for being here with me today and allowing me to poke my nose in at you. But one of the things I will come back tonight and talk about, and it may not be until late with my Heart Happy Hour folks, is some downloads that I got in reference to breathing and the breath. And I want to be able to expand to you what has been sinking in with me the last 2 days after those downloads. So one love and wellness, fellas. I'll step into the background again, but I appreciate you guys so much. One love.
and wellness. I say good thanks. Yay, yay.
Yeah, I got to step away for 1 second before I actually do leave for the whole, for the rest of the time, putting you guys on mute.
All right. Yeah, that was a fun little ride.
Nah, these are beautiful lessons and stuff because if somebody's gonna do
Yeah.
something or if they're gonna say something, it's very important that you articulate the fucked up shit that someone else is doing to you. You see what I'm saying? You must articulate it. You must speak like a big boy. Okay? And if you can't articulate what it is that you're talking about, then no one's gonna hear or acknowledge what you're saying.
Uh huh.
You must
Uh huh.
articulate. So until you can talk like an adult, then
Uh
you're no longer. You see what I'm saying? Because I have to articulate the fucked up shit that you're doing. You see what I'm saying? I got to come out. We got to
all
bring
right.
in definitions. We got to call out the bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And if you got a dictionary right there, that you can go look up all of these motherfucking words and we can compare definitions. Then we draw the conclusions on what it is. That's just a little scientific method. You know what I'm saying? It's 5 steps to that. Gather your
Ah.
information, formulate a
There's something to that
hypothesis, build
method
the theory.
stuff. There's
Say
something
again?
to that method stuff, and when you're in certain careers, they give you certain techniques for things, and not to say that industry is accurate, but it does what they would like it to do, which is like you said, give you a smokescreen or put you in another mindset or try to take you off the point or even get you to a place where they know the language and where they can start having that conversation. So it is.
Black's
What
Law
you just
Dictionary.
described was a red herring.
Black's Law Dictionary. Black's Law Dictionary. If you're not
You
familiar,
see.
that's a dictionary of law. that a lot of words that we use in the Webster's dictionary means something totally different than Black's Law Dictionary.
Like
Black's Law,
nice.
like
Right. Nice
nice.
means stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Like, oh, that's so nice of you. That means that's so stupid of you. Why the fuck would you do that?
Ignorant. It's ignorant. It's that I word you use. That's what it means. Like nigga. Nice.
yeah. So again, it's back to words and how the more open we are to words, we can flow because they just tools. They just tools. It's about knowing the
Right.
essence and the character and how it's
Right.
yeah,
So
you know.
beyond that, there's an energy that comes with it.
Yeah.
And it's an
Yeah.
energy that everybody has to play. If somebody come in the room and start spitting some bullshit, you're gonna feel a certain type of way. They can sound confident and smart and all kinds of shit, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna feel a certain type. You're like, yeah, whoa, 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 whoa,
You
whoa.
keep saying you gotta say I'm gonna feel some kind of way because I don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be the one that feels the way you feel, but you express it how you feel. So I.
You got. I want the knife. You got a point there.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And in the time that you brought that point up is real interesting. Like you don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
So
You just
okay,
speak for
so
your
Gary,
damn self.
no,
I'm
I'm
just
saying
saying, if
no,
you
but
if you
that's a
so
red herring.
okay, for
That's a red herring.
purposes of where we are, I appreciate your confidentiality in that case
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying so
because we
basically
are in a public.
man, these are called red herrings. You see what I'm saying? So, for instance, if somebody comes in the room, right, and they're saying some offensive language, right, language that you don't like, are you going to feel a certain type of way? Are
Not
you
my
going to feel
person.
a certain type of way?
Not my person.
Precious mother, no, not you,
What
precious,
you mean?
What
precious mother love. If someone comes in using some offensive
what had
language,
happened was, see, what's offensive to you might not be offensive to me. So if it's
I'm
offensive
not
to
talking.
me,
Again. I said if there's something that's coming in, someone comes in the room that's offensive, and they do something that's offensive to you. Let's say they stink, or they start using words that don't apply that you don't like. Like if someone, like let's say you didn't like the word motherfucker, and they come in and using that word with impunity, and they directing it at you, and so forth and so on. Just very disrespectful or uncomfortable. Would you feel a certain type of way?
I would feel like it's time to move.
Right, exact. That's what I'm talking about. Not that I'm talking about the feeling that is generated in me, right? So I was using an example. Does that happen to you? That's what the point was. So I didn't have to go around Red Robin's barn to explain that. You see what I mean? Like, yo, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I mean. So when you throw in comments like, yeah, we got to get away from we or I or this. No, I'm speaking to we right now using I. But we're in this conversation. I can exclude you from the conversation with no problem. Is that is that would you like that? You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I'm talking about. And then we end up talking about something that's way off the topic and so forth. That's what a red herring is. And it happens all the time.
Well, there's probably lots to talk about. So just pick new subjects and keep moving and keep trying to be, as relatable as possible without offending folks, I guess. But for me, I'm saying if I decide that something it has offended me, sometimes I got to look at why does it offend me? Like somebody who stinks sitting next to me don't necessarily offend me because I stink for the most part. I mean, a lot. But what I'm saying is, but I mean, not to everybody do I smell pleasant. Most people I don't smell pleasant to. Only certain people can I smell pleasant to because those are the people who vibe on the same vibe or can relate to what I'm relating to. Anybody else, but the fungus is among us, and yeah, words,
Do they say you stink or something?
words.
How do you know? Do they say you stink? Do people say you stink? How you find
Right.
out?
There's
How do
somebody
you
that
know this to be true? How do you know this to be true? What type of experiences you can share if any
Okay,
that says that?
okay. That's another consideration. That's another consideration. I can't say what other people will smell and feel like stinks. But if they don't agree with me, if they're disagreeable, We can, then I
It's not
just choose other things to chat with or other people to chat.
right. But what I'm talking about is the feeling that brought you to that conclusion. Right. So we can act like it's just me or it's just I, but there is a we. Everybody knows when somebody walks into a room, there's a certain person that we all know that when walks into a room and all of a sudden the energy shifts. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And I know this because not because I'm judging what the other person has talked about. These people have talked about it. We've all sat in the room and talked about it.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if this happens with the collective right here in the room, I'm pretty sure because I've run into other people in other completely different circumstances where a motherfucker walks into the room and then all of a sudden the energy's off. So I would say, I'm assuming you have feelings, right? You have feelings. Now, I'm not going to interpret what your feelings say about this or whatever, but I do acknowledge that you have feelings, unless you don't. Everybody has feelings, unless they don't, right? So let's interrupt what we were talking about just so that we could take the focus off of me. Because, shit, this is getting, this is special.
Mhm. There's something there.
And I be coming on here to argue too. Like this is a good therapy shit for me. Come in, we
Yeah,
argue,
man.
talk about stuff. And again, I'm not coming at anybody a certain type of way other than, I'm just matching this energy.
Right.
It's like somebody you were like, look, that's thoroughly interesting. Just to the way the game works and the flip. Once you practice it with people, then it's like, okay, I see how this is. That's how she rolls. That's how he rolls. Or that's how they roll. Whatever, whoever. It's like you see,
Uh-huh.
it's a pattern. You gotta just see the pattern. It's not hard to
Yeah.
recognize it.
Yeah, there's so many archetypes.
Right. You can recognize it, but you do have to. You can't. That would be the opposite of ignorance. You see what I'm saying? Like when you pay attention to what's going on, not ignore it, and then make excuses like, "Oh, wait, whoa, no, I'm done." And I'm not talking about precious. I'm talking about any. I'm talking. We've seen this happen everywhere. Shit happens all the time. It's called red herring.
It seems to be embedded in society.
Yeah, it's a psychological term called red herring. When you look up a red herring, that's when somebody automatically throws something in there to fuck up the flow of the conversation.
Uh-huh.
That's just especially when you're building on something deep. You're building on something deep, then all of a sudden it's like, throw this in there to throw it off.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
So that happens all the time with everybody. Like people just do that, especially, and I'll call them out, especially with religious people. You start talking about Jesus, they will throw all kinds of red herrings and shit in there to take the focus off of some other type of focus.
Yeah. Had a conversation with a sister like that on yesterday, Saturday, out of the vending event.
Out where?
At this vending event over at Soul for the City on St. Elizabeth campus. We were over
Mm-hmm.
at that event and had a conversation. The sister was like, my person, we mentioned the Temple Mother to her. She was like, her first question, we thought Temple Mother. She said, how does Jesus fit in? It's
Right.
like, oh, it's
Right.
on now. It was he said,
Right.
how
Here
does
we
Jesus
go with
fit
the
in?
bullshit.
So yeah,
One
we had a
lifetime.
discussion going. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And so, felt my person that passion coming up, and inside it kept having to check itself. Don't be too hard on the sister because she was like in the 70s too. She's like I'm 70. She like, oh, don't be too hard on the sister. And so what happened was we finally started to bring it back down and just kept saying the same thing over that God is on the inside, and you don't have to read the Bible to talk to God because God's on the inside with Jesus and the Holy Spirit. The Trinity is all inside. All you do is you may not read meditation in the Bible per se, but if they on the inside, you can be quiet and listen to it. You can talk to them and get what you didn't know directly. You know, we just kept saying that everything she said, she was red herring all over the place. We just kept coming back to the same thing. Well, isn't God on the inside? Well, why don't you just talk to God? Ain't God on the inside? Won't just talk to God? Ain't God on the inside? So every time she came back, we kept back with that, and we ended up with a hug. She said we hugged, and she said, "What's your number? In case I may want to come by the temple or something." But it didn't start out that way because she came out ready, talking about what Jesus. And we were from back in the day, we was going for a minute. It was like, calm down. Don't beat the elder sister down, Just remind. But we said, my person said, God is talking to me right now on the inside, and He said, remind you that I'm in you too. So that's how we started talking. We was like, God's telling me right now, He's on the inside, telling me right now that He's inside of you, and you listen to Him. And just kept telling God's on the inside. And so we broke her down and hugged at the end. It was beautiful. But it was something though. So yeah, they out here, man. Them red herrings out here. What's happening, brother-in-law?
Ain't too much chilling, just getting up really. I
What's
just
up,
Yeah,
told
peace?
them.
yeah, man.
Can you hear
Be
me?
that way sometimes,
Yes. Peace. Wholeness.
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
talking
they
about
get real elaborate and they're very it's very it's like scientific almost. It's like they got the shit down to a science,
yeah,
you
man.
know? And
Yeah,
it's
man.
real slick because we'll be off arguing on something else and that wasn't even the point that we was talking about. You
Right,
see what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right.
It don't, and it could be anything. Hey, why are your glasses black? You see what I'm saying? Wait, nigga, why you talking about my glass? You know what I'm saying? It could just spiral from there. But that's already off the momentum. You see what I'm saying? They already has to be momentum started, and then they throw that shit in there, which makes it like you ever seen a top where you spin the top and then you press it, you throw something in, and then it goes spinning all over the
Right,
place.
right, right, right,
Same
right.
principle. Same principle.
Redirect it. Redirect the energies.
Redirecting the energy. Exactly.
Right.
You see
That's a
niggas
skill
focused
there.
on trying to do something, and then here we go. Like, why is that? What is that on your face? You know?
Yeah, man. They out there. They out there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So nothing to do with nothing. Just bring it up there. Yeah.
Just put it out there. Man, notice that it only comes and it happens when you start talking about shit that the person may or may not know about. Whoever it
Ah,
is. Whoever it is. It could be somebody could start talking about chemical engineering. I don't know shit about chemical engineering from a college perspective, but then you start talking, what about that? You know, there's like,
uh-huh.
I don't know what that is, but look, but what about this over here? Fuck that chemical engineering shit. I don't know nothing about that. And that's going to take attention away from me.
Right, 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 right,
You see what
right,
I'm saying? I got to
right.
have the attention. I got
That's right.
now, not me personally. I'm getting over that because I realized I was like that at a point where it's like, yo, you just an attention whore. You just want I put it to me now. The attention whore,
Uh,
just want the attention. Shut the fuck up.
Listen, you might learn something, right?
right, right, right. Yep. Facts.
That's my
Uh-huh.
key.
Yeah, but nah, that's it though. That's it. They out here, man. That's how to deal with them. How to deal with them. That's the thing. How to, bring the energy back or something if you choose to, or just call them out on it. What the fuck you talking about? We talking about this shit. What I got to do with anything, man? You know.
Right.
So
And then, right, if you redirect the question back, they don't know how to answer. So now
but
you got attention. Now you
I
got
was just,
attention and you don't know what to do with it.
right,
You
right.
see? You know what I'm saying? That's like little simple stuff. Like motherfuckers, like if you ask somebody, like you ever notice people try to touch you just without your permission or whatever. They try to just come hey brother, how you doing? They try to put their hands on you. But then you stop, be like, hey,
Uh-huh.
why did you just touch me? And they be, oh, you don't know? You just touching niggas. You don't know what you're doing. You just doing shit. Then that's where the ignorance comes in. You ignore that because you know why you touching the motherfucker. You know exactly why you touching somebody. You trying to get that energy.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Some shit that you don't have.
I
Or
I
you
had
think you don't have.
Uh,
I hate when people be in the store, strangers rub up against you or touch you, or I was in a store one time, well, a lot of times, and you can be on an aisle, right? And there's a big aisle, right? And I was looking at some CDs, and this man came right behind me over my shoulder and like reaching over. I said, man, look, this is a big ass aisle. What the fuck is you doing? Oh, I ain't mean nothing. I ain't mean nothing. I said, yes, you did.
Yeah.
I said, this whole aisle right here, what did you know? And people's looking at
right,
me like I was wrong, right? But, I already know what he was doing. You know what I'm saying?
right.
That's
Yeah,
part of the game. That's the game they try. So that's narcissist shit. I was just reading about narcissists, and
Right.
they'll do shit, Laurie. That's what the term is that they use for it now. They'll do something to you, and then your reaction is wrong, not what they did.
right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I come,
Yeah.
let's say I do some real ignorant shit, right? I come put my hands on your face. I'll be like, oh, right? Not hard, not hard. I'm smiling while I do it.
Uh-huh.
Hey, and then just rub like real something real fucked up, like a nigga should not do to another nigga. Just rub your face all the way down. Just,
Then you wrong for reacting a
and
certain
I'm
way.
wrong for punching you in the face. We both touched each other. You touch me, I touch you. I just put a little more pressure. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So what we
Right.
what we talking about? What we doing? You said, "Oh, I didn't mean nothing by it." Why did you just go to that? Why did you have to mean something? Because you know you meant something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the shit be wild, yo. I'll be like, yeah, that's special. But then Jesus talked about that too. He's like, why niggas touching him and shit. But then he made reference to the woman that touched him. He's like, ooh, it was a bunch of motherfuckers touching me, but somebody touched me.
Yeah. It's the difference when you rub somebody and when you touch somebody. She drained that energy out of him. That's what
There
she
you
did.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
During that energy, he looked back. He's like, whoa. Wait a minute now. Hold up, nigga. Somebody
but
in the
she
crowd.
but she was healed. Look, she was healed though. She said, like, if
Yes.
I can just get close enough, just I ain't even gotta touch him. Just let me touch the
Just
him on his arm.
him.
You feel me?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That's powerful. That's in the air. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? That's her. She set her intention. She
yeah.
said, look, all I gotta do, I don't even need to get all the way to the motherfucker. Just the fact.
Look, I'm gonna give you one better. Wake up tired, right? Real
Mm-hmm.
tired. And you look at your phone and you see a request for shit, right? You said, man, if I could just, I ain't even gotta go see him. If I could just get on this podcast, I know I'm gonna get some energy, right? You feel it? I said,
Yeah. That is exactly
yeah.
right.
Now I'm here laughing. Energy level done went up. You feel me?
There you go.
Like minded. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like minded people.
Build that energy up. That's like use it. It's here. It's unlimited. It's infinite. So it's
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. But since we're here discussing it, let's discuss it. You know what I mean? That's like, oh, we'll get into the gory details. Sometimes when we got some things out here that's called fire. Sometimes when we discuss fire, you go play with it, you might get burnt. You know what I'm saying? You might really feel the full essence of it.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, this is okay, all right. I see how this is a little hot.
That
Made me feel a
I look
certain
at
type of
that.
way.
That's for like a baby. You tell him don't touch that fire. But if an adult go touch that fire, he going. You understand what I'm saying? He should know better.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? But then you got people walk on fire, cold. You know that. Can,
So
you
let's
know.
talk about it. That's the whole. So apparently, fire's not hot. Or
Right.
what is different that makes the fire not hot to that nigga
I'm,
than it makes it hot for you?
let me give you experience I had with fire.
Uh,
I be meditating sometime, and I be staring at the candle, right?
mm-hmm,
And and his spirit told me, say, fire is not hot. We was programmed, to believe that,
mm,
right? So I'm like, yeah, right, whatever, because I'm having a conversation, with my higher self.
mm-hmm,
And so I'm staring at the candle. So what I did was I put my finger by the flame,
mm-hmm,
and I feel heat. And I was doing this experiment for like 2 weeks, right?
uh-huh.
and I kept putting my finger by the flame, and what I get real close. You know, you see that oil around the fire,
Yeah.
and then one day when I did it, the oil like leaned toward my finger, like it knew my finger was right there, and I was like, okay, and I never really did anything. It just would do that. So one particular night, the fire leaned toward my finger, and it touched my finger for like one, two, three, four, five. Got all the way up to like six, and it wasn't hot. And then once I started believing, hold up, this can't be happening. Then it got hot,
They-
and that
Yup.
gave me the mindset like when what in the scripture in the Bible when one of them guys was walking on the water when Jesus told him to come, and he
Peter.
was walking on the water,
Yes.
and then once he realized what he was doing, he started sinking, right? So yeah, that happened to me one time, and it never happened again after that. But I guess it's when they say if you can just believe, you feel me? Anything is possible. So
Yep.
that was just something I shared with y'all.
That and that's a beautiful story because all of it in that 6 seconds that you held the fire,
Uh huh.
that to match that up with the Peter story and walking on water,
Right.
that's grand. Like that's a beautiful parallel. You see what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Because as soon as he started looking around, because I mean, you gotta imagine he could have seen sharks or whales under the water, whatever,
Right.
anything to take his faith off of the light, off of the
Right.
Christ. You see what I'm saying? Like it's an energy. This nigga could have been named Jamal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Jamal and Peter, they out there practicing with hydrokinetics. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's practicing this light that he had told them over and over and over again that they are.
Right.
You see, but they don't believe. Nobody believed.
Yeah.
Nobody knew except for him. They had glimpses of knowing, but it's
Right.
like, look, man, you can do this. Like, come on. And
Yeah.
it even got to a point he was cursing them out. He's
Yep.
like, oh my God, man, how long am I gonna have to deal with y'all? You see what I'm saying? Like these are Bible verses that he talks about. The one, and then especially the one where he raised the girl from the dead and everybody laughed him to scorn. He
Right.
cursed them motherfuckers out. He's like, all of y'all, get out. Get out.
Yep.
You non-believers. I can't have you motherfuckers in here while I'm working this alchemy. I'm doing this magic.
Right.
Y'all
You're
fucking
right.
up the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I had a
and
car like
and and
that.
and, and, and
I had
that's
a
the whole thing with this matrix. When we going against the grain. When you going against the grain, you messing up the Kool-Aid. You feel me? And the whole thing is about going
right.
against the grain. You know, crazy.
I had a car like that that wouldn't start unless the energy in the car was right. Shep rode in that car a few times too. So that if anybody in the car was thinking anything was which was bad or negative about whatever was happening at that moment, just the energy itself, then the car wouldn't start. And so we had to kind of like all get on one accord and do what was required for us to be thinking pure and clean, positive energy thoughts in order for the vehicle. I'd have to tell everybody to get out if we couldn't clear it up. And then once everybody got out, then the car would start and then I could let folks in. It didn't cut off once I started it, but that was just, I had discovered that because when people were in the car with me and they were thinking, oh, this car is a battle trap or whatever, blah, 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 by its looks, doubting the fact that it was capable of getting us to and from New York
That's true.
and that kind of stuff. Remember, Chuck? Remember that vehicle? Well, maybe he can't hear. Can you hear us, Shep?
Yes,
Okay, so I was
exactly.
speaking on that car that you did not start.
Right. Uh-huh.
Well, it was just the faith,
Yeah.
having being able to, like he said, everybody's taught one thing, and then you realize, okay, that's not necessarily a requirement for you. You know that you can slough off all that other stuff and get to the point of what the energy is, which is to stay focused on what the goal is, right? So do you
Right.
see, does it correlate to your story at all, brother? How do you see, do you see it walking on water, touching fire, doing things that are contrary to what we've been programmed to believe
Yeah,
is one way? Like,
I've been living like that for, I don't know, since 2012. You know, it's like I be tested. You know, when you, like the other day, I was driving my car and I said to myself, man, I ain't had no problems out of this car in a minute, right? And I said, let me not think like that. The next day, the damn check engine light came on. So you gotta watch what you thinking, not just what you saying. You feel me?
Yep. Yep.
I'm
Yep,
serious,
sir.
man. You
Yes,
got you
sir.
gotta watch what you thinking these
Yeah.
days, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that shit will
Yep.
come in fruition. You know, excuse my French.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
so
Yeah, man.
I've had lights
Yeah,
come
man.
on like that, and I've been able to turn them off like that too, though.
yeah, I didn't
Be-
experience that yet. But everything is
I got to
energy.
the point, right? So I
This is
sent the car energy to say whatever it is, that you need. I now know that you need it. Just let me know what it is you need, and I'll handle it. But whatever the case is, let's go back to balance. And I've been able to balance it, like with doing nothing to the car, but
Right.
balancing it, but saying, whatever it is, let's work it out. You need whatever unblocked or whatever it is that I was seeing that I was sensing at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so
Because
And
I
then,
even
like you
took it to the
said,
shop.
you had a lot of people around you, so it could have been somebody dumping some energy on you too. You know,
Could be
and
that.
you had to get everybody out the car. You feel me? Until they can get
Right.
it balanced, like you said. It could be a number of things. That's why when I have people around me, right, I got affirmations that I say before I even get out the bed every morning. You feel me? It's like setting the tone for the day. You know, even
Yeah.
when you don't feel like saying it, you say it. You know, it's putting up your guard. You putting on the full armor. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
sir.
and, and that works. You know, if you can believe it works.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
you
Yeah.
got to
Right.
know. You got to
But
know
that's
that
the
shit
same thing I do
works.
when I go to the doctors and when I go to the car auto place where I get a diagnostic on my vehicle. But when I go, if something leads me to see a professional, it means that I haven't been able to pinpoint what it is. Sometimes I'll need an X-ray or some sort of test. But then when I go see the test, then I know what to work on. And then once I work on it, I've been able to resolve those things. But that's because, again, I'm believing I have that power. I'm believing that I've had success with that in the past. So if I've done it before, I can do it again.
Right.
And so I continue to try to maintain my belief, my knowing, my feeling, my understanding of the energy.
Right.
Right.
Right. So the knowing in there is half the battle. And once you know, the more you be. And it just happens naturally. You see what I'm saying? Like it just happens. If you read a book on psychology, then you're gonna be a psychologist. You see what I'm saying? It is everybody's a psychologist on some level. You got a psyche, you got a brain. All right, you a psychologist. So that's simple. Now, certain people that apparently go to school, you know what I'm saying, got to get a degree because you went through certain type of tests, and now you initiate to a certain level, and so forth and so on, according to that motherfucker. And who is that motherfucker? I don't know that nigga. You see what I'm saying? That's why I got the right to get a second opinion, Doc. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's the whole thing when you realize the connections. And when we say everything is connected and balanced and so forth, it's light, right? When we understand what light actually is, the different densities and so forth, it awakens certain things. This nigga
Yeah.
Jesus, he was a fucking, like, he was a goddamn genius. and truth and the light. He said three things that were all the same, that we got to understand the connection between them. You see what I'm saying? And then that opens up a whole nother broad spectrum of things, because now I know about that. Ignorance is bliss, because you can sit there and be like, well, I'm so happy. You so happy and stupid. You see what I'm saying? We don't know, but nobody's ever going to have the balls to come up and say that. I say that to myself all the time. Be like, yo, nigga, you so stupid. I didn't even know that there's books and shit on light, electricity, how it works, how it transmits, how it, transmutes, all of that. It's a whole lot different colors of fire, all kinds of different stuff. They got shit on fire. Everybody, we think we know fire because we got some matches and a lighter and shit. We light this blunt up real quick. Oh, I know I'm a fire expert. You pyrokinetic? You see what I'm saying? You know how to control fire, manipulate fire, and so forth. There's still more to learn, and the connection that has with your body. Why the lights come on when you walk into a room? Certain stuff, all kinds of supernatural behaviors or activities. Did anybody ever think to look into why? It's science. This is just what it is. What your breath has to do with that. When you breathe a certain type of way, if you about to whoop a nigga's ass and you going to, you know what I'm saying? It's breathing. But when you're ready to meditate, it's, that's the one common denominator is your breath. You, all different aspects, but that's all connected too.
Yeah, the out breath and the in breath that we don't even think about. Well, I did. I recently thought about how the trees, they breathe out what we breathe in. And remember how you talked about that the earth. Well, you didn't say this part, but you said the excrement of the gods is gold. Well, that gold is nutrition for Mother Earth.
Fertilizer.
So the
Yes.
right. So the planet is like a plant. The planet is like one big plant. It's alive. It's growing. It's not growing in some areas. It's moving. It's got certain energies that's moving through it. So I kind of get when you say planet, the E part, it's a plant with energy and motion, the E being the energy in motion and us being part of that energy that's in motion. We're the emotions of the earth.
And there's a
So
lot of
anyway, the
E's that
breath,
keep happening. It's a lot of
the,
E's, right? So you're saying emotion, energy, these E notes, these tones, the all
emotions
kinds
are
of
energy
different,
in motion.
right. That's an E note, that's an E tone, your solar plexus. You see what I'm saying? The number three is like a backwards E. There's a lot of E's in three. Three is the great one. You know what I mean? Like all of these, they correlate. So when we look at the
Easy.
connection between them, tone E, right? Tone E. It's like all of these things connect a certain type of way. But it's like, man, like when the Bible says you're fearfully and wonderfully made, that's like, yo, it's some scary and beautiful shit in there. You say like, good Lord, like, yo, you that the fucked up shit and the grand shit. You mean that's all you're moving through this energy? You're saying like, oh, nigga just got shot around the corner, but nothing happened over here. You see what I'm saying? But we're moving through the energies. Oh, I'm backstage. Oh, he's
Yeah,
gone.
the energy is moving funny today. And
Huh?
my phone overheated 3 times in our conversation. So it's getting hot. This is a hot topic, a hot conversation today. Because my phone has, and it should not be hot. It's not hot to touch, but it cut off because it said my phone was overheating. So
Yeah.
it
Did
was
it take me back?
accepting
Can
the
y'all hear
energy
me?
of this conversation as hot.
That's like a duck. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a duck. See, that's a little slick right hand, right? Because my screen on the top is gone. You see, like I can't see myself in the screen, but that's a whole nother topic that don't have shit to do with shit. That's so it's like we're all kind of subconsciously, you know what I'm saying? Like I am doing this, you know what I'm saying, as well. I'm not, like point the finger or anything, because you got three pointing back at you. So it's all just, it's making light of these things. Like, oh yeah, I need that shit. That shit be happening all the time. And it be fucking with my heart. And I be like, why I'm feeling all tight and tense? You know what I'm saying? When everybody we supposed to be building and loving and so forth. Because I feel there's a different type of build in different places. It's not that same energy all everywhere. It's just certain places. So let's define it. Like, what is happening here?
It's getting hot in here.
That's that fire energy. That's that Sagittarius. You know what I'm saying? Anybody know Sagittarius is fire.
Yes, indeed.
Anybody
Yeah.
that's ever dealt with a Sagittarius before has probably gotten cursed out at one point or another.
My person's moon is in Sagittarius.
Oh, yeah.
So
Mine
emotion,
too.
energy moves by that fire.
Ah, that's funny. Y'all ever
You're
watch
saying
Silver
that.
Surfer? You ever
Do
seen
we
Silver
what?
Surfer? You ever seen Silver Surfer,
It
the
sounds
cartoon?
familiar. Long
So
time
Silver
Tell
ago.
me
Surfer.
about it.
Whoa.
So Silver Surfer is like one of the Marvel characters. So you got Iron Man, Spider Man, um, just all of those characters, Black Panther, all of them. So then Silver Surfer is and he came out in the Fantastic Four. So
Yeah,
you got
I remember him. Yeah, I remember that.
okay. Yeah, he was all like a silver type color, but it was kind of like transparent, and he rolled around space on a surfboard.
Right.
And the girl that he was dealing with was Sagittarius. She was fire. So I'm gonna go back and watch it again to see exactly what their relationship was. But they were flying through space, and it's almost like the Caduceus, where you got the white dragon and the red dragon, and they're just flying through and handling all kinds of stuff, and doing the Silver Surfer shit. He was working for the god for Galaxy. So and it was like he was like a kind of like a slave. He wasn't free from what I remember. It's like it was just like he was on a mission for something else, for a
And, and,
higher
and,
power.
and when you said his girl was the fire, what came to me was they was like the yin and the yang. Because the silver, it always melt when it get around heat.
Mm,
You feel me?
mm.
So how can that really work? You feel me? So yeah, that was just came to me when you had said his girlfriend was the fire. Just like when they make these corns or anything silver, it's transparent when that heat hit it. So
Yeah, yeah. That's why I
I
gotta go
just threw
back and
that
see
in
what
there. I
they're
don't know why it was like that.
right. That's because it. But then it's funny because the alchemy of the whole thing, like connecting that with something else, the fire of it, it's all one light.
Right,
You see what I'm saying? So it's different densities of it's a different twist on the same thing. You see
right,
what I mean? So, like I said, I'm gonna go back and watch the cartoon again to get more detail and clarity on what their relationship was, because they weren't together the whole time. They like they're flying through space, and then
right.
it's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Which I was realizing when you look at, they're flying through your body. You're flying through a body. Like they're like little Silver Surfers, like a sperm cell flying through the body, up and
Okay.
down the different planets of, from your brain all the way. Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Guardians of the
and we
Galaxy are
was
little.
young watching this stuff, man, and had a
Right,
really
right.
clue what was going on.
Yep. That's what that's why it's so mind blowing now to go back and be like, oh my fucking God, like this is holy shit. Like
Yeah,
this is crazy.
yeah.
Recognition.
Yeah,
It
but I do
clicks.
know. Yes, yeah. I do know Sagittarius was that fire though, and she was rolling with it, and they was flying together, and they was going through, and I was like, "Yo, that's wild." The connections
But
of
here's the thing
different
too. If you
energies.
look at a car battery, you got the negative and you got the positive.
Yeah.
You need both of them to create friction to
There
make
you
it work.
go.
You feel me?
There you go.
So we just asked our own question right there. Boom.
Boom.
Boom, chaka laka
Yeah.
laka.
Just gotta talk it out. Just talk it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's what's up.
Yeah,
man.
because I was thinking that actually, as she's melting and he's melting, because they're both kind of canceling each other out. But when they get to that harmony place or that place of bliss, it probably is one big puddle.
Right.
Some
Right.
or the water might get. I mean, the fire might heat it up until it's all steam or it gets
Yeah.
steamy.
Yeah. I think
So change,
what's your favorite? I
It's
think he talks
infinite
a lot about that.
possibilities.
isn't it? It is. It is when you take out the blocks of the fact that one is cold and one is hot.
Yep,
Because which one is cold and which one is hot? There is hot ice. There is hot ice, and there
yep.
is cold, which is like a cold fire.
Right. So what? So is there either one, or how about it's just you? It's just the all in all. It's different degrees, different densities, a different twist on the same thing.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
And
And
which one do you perceive at that time? Your perception of its existence.
exactly.
But
It's
now,
just an illusion. Remember that song, Illusion? Up, up,
Yes.
up,
You,
up, an
you know, they
illusion.
some I had someone to pick that song apart for me one day and tell me that they actually some kind of way those people got in trouble for making that song because of the subliminal
Yeah,
knowledge
they
that's
was
in
they
it.
was dropping jewels, but that's all they
Yeah,
used to do back in the day. All them songs, man, I still listen to them on the albums, and they have meaning to it, substance, you know. And the
hmm
songs now, these newer songs, I don't really elaborate on them because I don't really listen to them. But yeah, I could pull a whole nest of songs out, man. It had to mean something. You just couldn't make a song back in the day, and without words, meanings, because we know words are spells. So yeah, that record illusion and the groove be right there with it too. So that's what we got to talk about emotions and how you can calm yourself down, listening to music, and you can pump yourself up, listening to music. You know, just like with the breath. You know.
Yeah, music therapist, baby. Music therapist.
Yeah.
yeah. The tones matter because a tone can make you happy or bring you to tears. Just just the particular note they play or the succession of notes, which are
Yeah.
actually
yeah, but
representations of
that's not.
various
But
letters.
so, right, but there's pain. There's the pain. That pain is not a It's not pain. Like when you're breathing in and you hit these tones and it brings up tears. That's a cleansing. That's a. Have you ever hurt when you cry?
My eyes have hurt. Yes,
Your eyes hurt when you cry.
there. Yeah, when there's a long time between when I've cried, which has happened a lot, often. That some kind of way my eyes begin to hurt. Like there's a pain. Like my whole eye, not just the tear duct, but the whole. It's like my eyes have some emotional connection. Like they actually have a pain. Like
No, I
somebody
mean
says a pain in my.
okay, like a pain, like if somebody were to like drill your hand or something. Like I'm talking something painful, like something like, oh my God, I stop doing this immediately.
Oh my God! Stop
It,
what?
like stop doing this immediately. Like, oh my God, stop doing this immediately. Type pain. Like if somebody smashes, if your finger gets smashed into the door of the car, right? Like I'm talking pain, like razor blades and lemon juice.
Yeah, that happened to me before I get slapped. My finger brushing to get gas and slam my own finger in the car door. Yeah, that
Oh,
happened to me. I
yeah,
didn't
like
How
cry,
do you
but I was
stop
like,
it?
oh, fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
Couldn't
How'd you
The
believe,
stop it
crying,
from?
huh?
it seems like the crying was like the release or the well, not crying, but it's like the tears. Like that's what I'm trying to get to is does it hurt? Are you saying that it hurts to cry?
No, no. But I believe when you cry, and I believe it's more emotional when like say something happened, you lost a loved one or something like that. Well, I hope it don't happen. But
Right.
you crying because of the loss. The tears that's pouring out you. I don't think, to me, I don't feel no pain in the tears,
Right.
but it's more
That's
so the emotion of what happened.
correct. Right. That's what I'm right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
does it hurt to cry? Like when tears are flowing down your face and you're it's a cleansing. Does it actually hurt? Like somebody's punching you or your finger got
Nah,
smashed in the door, something like that. Does it hurt?
not to me.
No. Right. It feels you're feeling emotional. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. So it's like if you're feeling a certain type of way, you're feeling emotional, you're feeling, like these energies and so forth. You feel that knot in your stomach. Does that hurt? Like, are we calling that pain? Or we call, you know what I'm saying? Is that what the whole thing is? Like, I'm clarifying all of this stuff.
Right. Nah, not really. It just, that's why I never really thought of that part. But nah, pain, when I set my finger in that car door that time, I didn't even really know I did it at first. And
Uh-huh.
then when I realized I did it, feel like I felt pain, but it was like a numbness pain, right? And what I did, I took my other hand and squeezed the finger that was hurting, and when I put that pressure on it, it kind of took away some of that pain. Yeah, that was
Yes.
crazy, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Redirecting the flow, balancing
Yeah,
out the flow, taking away
yeah,
the whatever it was that was being directed to that area, balancing it out.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yep. Right. So what I was basically my point with that was with the tears. When you're crying, that's a cleansing that happens. So when the certain tones bring up tears and so forth, it's a swirling to release. You're releasing. You're letting go of this stuff, but then it's also creating because something is going to take its place. So it's a constant, like you said, the trees breathe in what we breathe out. That's photosynthesis. That's a whole science to that of what's happening to the ecosystem in the ecosystem, and it happens on so many different layers, all different densities of light. It all comes back to I am the way, the truth, and the light. No man comes to the Father but by me.
I was gonna
Yeah.
finish that statement, but I was like, nah, I'm like, yeah, but
I
no,
should have waited. I should have shut up. He's like, let somebody else join in.
yeah, but
So,
that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
so one love and wellness, fellas. I'm gonna have to leave, and I just want to make sure that I just do a proper exit this time. I was taking my break. So, Love plus Art equals Wellness, Heart Happy Hour. You guys continue to share your knowledge and your discoveries and discussions with my audience, and I will catch up with you guys soon. Ghost, I'll see you tomorrow evening.
All right.
Chef, I'll see you soon.
All right.
Tony, it's always good to see you and hear from you.
Yes.
Again, One Love and Wellness family.
Thank
Speak with you
you.
guys soon.
All right.
Thank you.
One love and wellness.
Indeed.
I
Yep, yep.
say.
One
Stay old.
love. That's funny.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. And the way, the truth, and the light. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. The way, the truth, and the light. It wasn't no or like which one. It wasn't a decision. Like which one you want to be. You want to be this one or that one or this. No, you this, that, and that, nigga. You the whole goddamn thing.
Yep.
And we have the potential to do greater works in these.
Shit, greater
So
things than me, Shaggy also. Hmm,
yeah,
that's what I'm talking
part
about.
right there. That part.
Yeah. Yes, Lord.
But the funny thing about it is, we say that, right? But
Hmm.
we see someone, I ain't even say doing greater, but attempt to doing greater. We don't want to believe, or we look at them sideways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and we gotta really, to me, I try to always fall back, and I catch myself, and then somebody be like, "Oh, you believe that what he's saying?" Or, "Oh, you believe that?" And then when I tell them, "Yeah, yeah, I believe it," and they be like, then looking at me like, "Oh, well, come on, Lars, man, you don't believe that shit, man." You know, I be wondering where I be like, man, I be doing work sometimes. I be painting over this guy's house, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And this, you know, he been friends for like 40 years off and on. And but I watch patterns, right? And when I be trying to drop jewels on him, he like rejecting it, right?
Hmm.
But I think he just like to argue about stuff. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna go here and argue with this dude about nothing today. That was my intention, right? And so I'm painting. He come out there, you know. Then he want to talk about Trump, you know, because he in there watching CNN, and you feel me? He watch, he do it faithfully. He watch CNN and he watch sports. He don't watch no movies, no nothing. Um, then he, you know, he had just came back from the doctor getting another jab, right? And for real. And we come out there and we talk, and by he saying stuff that he know I don't agree to, but I wasn't putting up no, you know, no argument stuff. But he was determined that he was gonna strike a chord, right?
Right.
Hmm.
And sure enough, he struck a chord because I couldn't take it no more, and but I think it'd be like friendly arguments, debates, because at the end we don't be mad at each other. You feel me?
Yeah.
And and the dude was sitting on the toilet. This dude, his next door neighbor, came out the house. I don't even know his neighbor, and he say, "Man, I was sitting on the toilet, and the spirit told me to come out here to tell you to listen to that guy because he got a message for you, right?" I don't
Hmm.
even know this guy, right? And so he looking at me like, and then looking at his neighbor like, I was like, I don't know that guy, man. So you need to listen, right?
Yeah.
And he just gave a little smile or whatever, right? But I don't think everybody gonna wake up in this lifetime. Um, you know, when I first, you know, start coming back to who I was back in 2012, you know, I was happy and trying to, you know, get other people to wake up and this and that. And what I learned was that these people, they don't want you to wake them up. They sleeping good, man. You
Yeah,
Hmm.
like,
man.
you shake somebody, man, what you waking me up for? You know, it might get mad, cuss you out. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
hey, I just put it in there. You know, if somebody asks a question, you know, I try to enlighten them if I know, you know, how to enlighten them on the subject. But other than that, man, you know, let's take a lot of energy out of it. You know,
Yup. Mm-hmm. But giving that pearl of swine is something, we advise not to do.
there you go.
That's interesting. The pearls to swine.
To swine, right? They tell you that.
So I'm like, man, cause who are we defining as the swine? Like, who is the swine? Because I mean, who is the swine? That's
I think the swine could be the non-believers or the people that don't know or refuse to listen. That
Right.
could be
More
the
so
swine.
who refuse. Yeah, who refuse and be like, I don't want to know that. I don't want to know. I want to stay asleep. I think those make the swine.
Right.
Some who don't know, but they want to know. They just need to, once they hear it, you're like, oh, good, thanks for sharing, so they can take the pearl and wear it, adorn it, and do something with it. Yeah.
And I just had a thought too. All them years I spent in church, because my mother raised me as a Christian, and
Yeah.
learning the Bible and learning stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how we talking right now, the preachers they preach right, but they don't get in detail in the metaphysics part
Right.
because that's when they probably end up getting put out the church.
Yeah.
You
I
see what I'm
gotta
saying?
keep I gotta keep your ass ignorant so I can get my 10%.
Yeah,
Don't
And
be
get that
fucking
blood
with my
from the
money
chosen.
now.
but
Don't be
I,
fucking with my money.
one time I was in my church, right? When I used to go to church, and the pastor was preaching, and I was like, I was in this one of them big churches, and I was like in the back because it was so crowded. I seen a halo around his head, and I looked, and I had to look. I had to wipe my eyes to make sure I seen what I was seeing. So I seen a halo around his head, right? And
Right.
so what that told me was he was woke. He know what was going on, and but he couldn't feed it to the people like that. I guess and I never forgot that. But I ain't never really get. I never even told him I seen it. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
What y'all think about that?
Yeah,
Yeah, you said,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Right on, actually. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't. It's like the Bible says study to show yourself approved, right?
right,
So that's work you got to put in yourself and come to these realizations of what it is yourself. So, because it's interesting, because I be talking a lot about shit, because I'm just, I'm still studying it. Like I ain't done yet. Like
right,
I'm not at no level. I'm at whatever level. I'm just in this motherfucker. It's not levels or I'm higher than you. You don't know what I know. I don't know what you know. You don't know what we know. I don't know. You don't know what you've been through to put you here to make you know what you know to brought you to conclusions. And
right,
I don't. That's not my concern. I don't. I'm not worried. You here. We here. So there's obviously something for us to learn here because the way electromagnetics works is it just you find yourself in the company of the people that you have that you've thought about, that you've spoken.
right.
So this is manifestation 101. You see, thoughts create things. You think about it, you'll create it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's technically all you need to know. And you can go deep, you can go as deep as you fucking want to with
Cause the
that.
rabbit hole never stop, right?
Right. Right. It's all kinds of and then it's books and stuff. There's apparently this one nigga that was like took that shit to a whole nother level. Imagine his imagination. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To the point where he could just think about shit and he could heal your ass just from thinking about you. You
Yeah,
see what I'm saying?
yeah,
But that's some magic witchcraft shit to talk about today. But we fucking read this book all the time, and niggas go faithfully to church every fucking Sunday to learn about this type of shit, but they don't look at it like that.
right.
It was so funny when Master Shut was talking about the story earlier where you got the red herrings and them niggas that's out here, because they definitely out here. I was
Yeah,
on a nature walk yesterday playing the bowls in the woods, right? I'm just playing the bowls in the woods. And this little nigga rolls up to me talking about, oh, like, hey, like, yo, that's he's like, you don't need, or I could feel, I wasn't playing when he first walked up to me, but then he walked up to me and started talking. He's like, yo, you got some energy. There's this good energy that's from Jesus Christ. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, here we go. So I started playing the bowls. So I was like, this nigga here, poor confused little child, help this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
He's telling me what this nigga told him. So it was like, oh shit. So I'm sitting there playing, and then he's like, yo, I can feel the energy from that. I was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, stupid, because it is energy. What the fuck you think? Like, it's sound. You can hear that. You can feel it. It's
Right.
music. So he's in there, oh, well, okay, no. You don't need that. You just need Jesus Christ. I was like, well, you can go fuck yourself with him too. So go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that, and that's that mentality. You see what I'm saying? It's the mentality of it. That's going to get thee behind me, Satan.
Yeah, you in the woods chilling, they come in the woods finding you. You feel me?
Yeah.
You try and get away from the people. And what are you doing in the woods effing with me?
Right. Jesus went out to the motherfucking desert, apparently. He went out to the wilderness.
Yeah.
And then here come the devil trying following his ass. Or he started following him.
Shit.
Because it's like, get thee behind me. So now I'm starting looking at all these people like they're your friends.
Yeah.
Because I personally want my enemy behind me. You see what I'm saying? I don't want you having my back if you're my enemy.
Uh-huh.
Just to flip the script on that. He's like,
Right.
get thee behind me, Satan. Satan. Be like, yo, I need some help. It's like, yo, I got this shit I gotta accomplish here. Everybody's on a mission, apparently.
Yeah.
Man, I can talk about this nigga all day. Just saying all different stories and shit that just all basically say the same shit. When he was on the mountain, and then niggas couldn't cast out the demons, but he could.
Yeah.
Oh, that's deep. That's deep as fuck, just right there. Well, the whole story is funny because they went up on the mountain and they sitting there fasting, and then he came back and then niggas couldn't do it because they wasn't up on the mountain. He came back down and they sitting there trying to cast demons out because you thought you had the power, but you wasn't up on the mountain getting the power.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You didn't plug yourself in. That's like
They didn't put the work in.
right. That's like you plugging your phone charger in, but it's not plugged into the wall. You plug it into your phone, but you ain't plugging it into the wall.
Yeah, and
You
they ain't go to,
half-assing shit.
they weren't plugged in the source. You know what I mean?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
we have the power. We have the power. But yeah, you have the capability of the power, but you ain't go up there to get the power. You ain't
But
plug
check
in.
this out. Check this out. What them spirits say? They say something like Jesus we know, such we know,
Yes, Peter,
but
we
who are
know.
you?
Yeah, but who? It's like, nigga, I don't fucking know you.
You trying to tell me to do something, you trying to cast me out. Who are you?
Yeah. Like, nigga, I don't know who the fuck you are. Be like, who is this motherfucker talking to me? You know what I'm saying? That's like, yo, you do not even like who the fuck? Who
Right,
the
right.
fuck? You know? That's just to modernize. Like, who the fuck is this? Did you ever
Right.
see that movie Braveheart?
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, so you
Yep.
remember the scene. You remember the scene when the king came into his son's room and that gay and his friend. His his friend was in the room with him.
Right.
And the king is talking to his son about the war plans and how to take out the Mel Gibson character, William Wallace, right? The WW, flip that over to the MM, right? Now you just saying little shit. The So they're talking about how we're gonna deal with this nigga because he's a menace. He's causing all kinds of shit. These Indians, these originals are coming back, and we gotta maintain our castle. We can't be letting them take over our shit because we here illegitimately. You know what I'm saying? Like all that bullshit, right? So he's getting deep into this conversation with his son. So then the little friend, he come over and he's like, well, I would do this and I would do that. And you know, that. And then it was so funny because the king's reaction, he looked up in the air. You know how niggas when somebody says something to you that's like way off and you get that crazy 1,000-yard stare where you look up into the air and you be like, who is this motherfucker?
Yep.
He said, who is this? Yeah, picked that nigga up by the collar, threw his ass out the fucking window.
Yeah,
Hey.
man.
That was that. Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. That was the hardest. That was one of the hardest scenes in that movie. I was like, yeah, like that's how you got to deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's like What? Oh man.
All right, all right.
Woo. Yeah, that shit was funny as hell. Peace, peace. Yeah.
A little quick ending tones. As we look at the time is about to get ready to go next door. Got the bowls set up next door. Gonna go over here and play these bowls.
Okay.
You know. Yep. And this moving forward, going forward every Sunday, we look, go play the bowls at once. So if y'all want to come through at 1 o'clock over to the other house, play them bowls, man. Got getting a good been practicing and stuff. Besides singing bowls, got some range sticks, the other drum there. So increasing our skills with the sound bad. So gonna go over here
That's
now and
good.
get off into it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
practice. Keep practicing. That's the key.
Yeah,
Just
man. Yeah,
practice.
man. Yeah, man. This is just hearing them sounds together. It's like, man, this sounds good. Yeah. So we in there. We
Oh,
in there.
so let me ask you something.
Yeah.
That was you hitting the bell and playing the thing?
No,
Nah, that was Tony on the bowl.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
I'm
going to
playing
say,
something.
yeah, I was going to say, that sound like two different.
No, I play these. I play these.
Okay, but it was
You
blended.
know.
It was blended right in. Because
Yes.
if you would have told me, yeah, that was you doing both of them, I'm like, shit, you good over that. You got three hands
Yeah,
over that
yeah.
though.
Well,
We was at the mall one day playing on the National Mall. Had the drum, he had the bowl. We was playing the bowl and drum on the National Mall. Then they healing out there, man.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what's
We'll,
up.
we'll also let you know next time Tony get that hiking trip together. He take the bowl to the mountain, man. But the mountain playing the bowl, go on a hiking trip. So we'll let you
Okay.
know when we're that schedule.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That'll
All right,
work.
about the time now. Okay.
All right. See y'all later.
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
peace.
Yep.